Twitch and YouTube, you are online, and we will be going to our Facebook friends here in just a little bit. So give me just 1 second to make certain everything is where it needs to be, and we'll go from there. It's like we're almost there. It is decently quiet for right now. Next chance of rain into overnight. Next chance of rain after that will be, again, from what we can see, into the overnight period, and that is where we may see less rainfall for at least a time. And then, as we go into next week, that's the potential problem as we see more scattered chances of showers, thunderstorms, and maybe the possibility of more severe weather taking place and possibly some flash flooding. So that, again, is where we're going to be seeing the worst potential problem coming our direction into the next few days. If you got questions about the forecast, again, drop them into the comments section. We are live right now on Twitch and YouTube, and we are about ready to go live on Facebook as soon as our countdown commences here. If you have any plans for the weekend, should be able to keep them for at least a little bit. Unfortunately, we do have the potential of more problems coming our way into next week. Any other questions, drop me an email, aonek@wdef.com. On a little bit early tonight, and I'll explain why in just a second. But in the meantime, here we go for Facebook. All right, live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. We are live and direct tonight a little bit earlier. We try to be on at about 9:45. We're about 5 minutes early than what we usually are because of the fact that we have some recording stuff going on in the studio as we go into the rest of the evening. So I've got to sign off here in a little bit earlier fashion, so we're going to start early to finish early. If you're just joining us, this is our live video weather blog, Weather Overtime. If you've never been here before, we're on with information and weather about what's going on in and around southeast United States, more specifically Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's an opportunity for you, the viewer, to ask questions about what's happening with the forecast. If there's something you want to ask but don't want to necessarily throw it out for everybody, email me in the blue bar down below at aonek@wdef.com. We'll have information about severe weather potential. We'll also talk about the tropics, which are not as quiet as we saw even with the remnants of Arthur passing on through. Could be what is known sometimes as a Frankenstein storm. Could come back to life, depending on what goes on. We'll show more about that in just a little bit. Thanks to our sponsor, Epicos Comics, Cards, and Games, your one-stop geek shop at epicosccg.com. Let's go ahead and get started and show you more about what is going on for this evening, which, again, is kind of a soggy one out there, but we'll talk more about that in just a moment or two. Heading out for a nosh tonight. Keep the rain gear handy because you're probably going to need it, but most of the rain should be clearing the area and heading out of the picture as we get into later on this evening. It's going to be quite mild across the area, so shirt sleeve weather would be a very good idea out there for tonight. Lows barely below 70 degrees. Nice capture of a rainbow, and if you take a look just above the rainbow, you may see just a bit of a secondary rainbow there. Thanks a lot to News 12 viewer Sandra Travis from Chickamauga, Georgia, for our weather window picture of the day, brought to you by HEP Heating. You can drop them off at our website, use social media, or email them to us at pictures@wdef.com if you'd like to do so there. Pretty close to normal on the temperatures for today. 0.14 of an inch of rain in the gauge, and that's it for today, even though a lot of other areas around the News 12 viewing area did pick up quite a lot more, and we need a bunch more to make up for that nearly 6-inch deficit for the entire year, so just not getting all the rainfall we could use. Now, out and about tomorrow, it is going to be kind of a raggedy start to the morning. Showers and thunderstorms left over in parts of the area. But if you're heading out again for a round of golf or pretty much anything else, you should be able to leave the umbrella behind right about after sunrise, and then clearing skies, so a little warmer, lots of solar radiation out there, so Don't forget the sunblock if you're going to be heading out the door for later on. Who let all these gnats into the studio? Taking a look at some underlit clouds here downtown and Signal Mountain off in the distance. Some low clouds here reflecting the lights of downtown. We're on Broad and 33rd Street. That's Broad Street right there on the north and south towing camera high atop the News 12 studio roof for this evening. Temperatures back in the mid-70s. It's comfortable, but it's also very much on the muggy side as we see dew point temperatures back into the lower 70s and going to be staying that way into the overnight period. Allergies, not totally terrible, but could be an awful lot better as we see mold spores once again on the higher side of things. So if you're susceptible to those, that could be a bit of an issue. And then also, again, we're seeing a little bit higher in the way of grass pollen. Not by much, might be due to all the yards being mowed out there. Could be, again, just a normal phenomenon, but for right now, that is what we're seeing for allergy reports. Air quality overall pretty good, thanks in part to the passing of what was Tropical Storm Arthur just a couple of days ago, now over the southeast United States. You notice again down to the south and east of Atlanta, those dark red areas. We've got tornado watches in effect for a good swath of Georgia. Severe thunderstorm warnings. Those tornado watches go down into and around portions of the middle part of the panhandle of Florida, but no severe weather taking place here. And as you can also see, again, very easily, we've got that big swirl of energy taking place, rotating on through. That right there is, again, what is left of the spin from what almost became, again, tropical storm to hurricane status Arthur, but one of the only storms we've had so far this season. Temperatures right about at the quarter hour, it's 15 before 10 Eastern time, 60s and 70s so far. Again, comfortable, not exactly what you might call cool for this evening. Also looking at temperatures across the area back in the 70s thanks to the clouds and the rainfall blocking out the sunshine here. Much warmer back over toward Little Rock, temperatures in the 90s there today, and much cooler up around I-44, St. Louis and Springfield back in the 60s behind our latest cold front, which is sitting up that direction. That leftover rotation, again, that was Arthur about 24 hours ago, and this cold front dropping down from the north to the south is helping to kind of curb that area. That area of low pressure is going to scoot along that front and escort over toward the Atlantic. Now, what happens after that? We'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. Drier weather will be circulating in with this area of high pressure before our next storm system gets going over Canada and the northwestern United States and the Rockies. That'll be moving through as we go into Sunday, and that'll bring back the potential of more showers and thunderstorms and the possibility of, yes, once again, some possible flash flooding. Temperatures for lows tonight in the 60s and lower 70s for much of the area in and around northeastern Alabama for tonight. Back into north central, northwest Georgia, high 60s to around lower 70s. Western North Carolina might be a little bit cooler, but not by much, back in the low to mid 60s there. And much of southeast Tennessee, back in the 60s and 70s for the most part. Warmer temperatures along the Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee line, the river valley, the rivers valley, I should say. I would also not be surprised to see some patchy fog forming out there overnight, so it could maybe be a little visibility problems early in the morning, so something to consider there if you're going to be up, out, and about early on Friday. Severe weather chances almost gone. Western North Carolina, extreme eastern Tennessee, and northeastern parts of Georgia. We still have that 1 out of 5 dark green polygon marginal threat of severe weather. The yellow polygon that you see is a 2 out of 5 slight risk category, so the worst potential of severe weather east and south of Atlanta, over toward Augusta and down toward Albany, east of Columbus, right around Macon. That'll be the worst potential, and that will go all the way down again into the Florida Panhandle. The best threat for severe weather tomorrow, Outer Banks to the Gulf, back to Texas, a marginal 1 out of 5 threat there. And Saturday, late Saturday, could be the potential of a thunderstorm. Nothing much of anything else going on there, and just isolated non-severe thunderstorms. Could be, again, the potential of more severe weather next week. It's not on the forecast for right now, and the best potential into the weekend will be with that developing storm system over the Great Plains. That is where we will see the worst potential of anything involving severe weather there. It's Thursday, so the United States Drought Monitor issues its latest update, and the update for this week shows marked improvement across much of the area, but we still have 4 out of 5 severe to extreme drought situation over western North Carolina, northeast Georgia, and extreme eastern Tennessee, north and east of the Chattanooga area. So even though we got some pretty good soaking over the last couple of weeks off and on, we still need a lot more to get totally out of this drought situation. So it's going to take another half a foot of rainfall to get that taken care of. Now, again, the chances of rain pretty much almost over with, but then we watch into Sunday afternoon as the rain comes back into Monday and possibly on Tuesday, stacking up in dribs and drabs. But there is the possibility that some parts of the area could get over 2.5 inches of rainfall, possibly pushing 3 into parts of Georgia, up into Kentucky, north middle Tennessee. That's into next week. Again, it's not going to happen all at once, but we will see increasing chances of rain stacking up in the next several days. So once again, turn around, don't drown, find another way to get to where you're going. This is not unheard of. This is really something to take a look at when this actually does happen. When these storms get a very good burst of energy to start off with, they can survive over land in one form or another. And it's not a tropical system technically, but it is something that the National Hurricane Center is keeping its eye on. And if this system survives its trek across the southern Appalachians, it's a pardon me, very good possibility, even though it's a fairly minimal, it's still possible that this storm could be resurrected as it heads over the western Atlantic in the course of the next several days. So Arthur could get a new lease on life. It is no threat to us except for rain and the possibility of some thunderstorms through tonight and into the next couple of days. But I would not be surprised if this hits the warmer waters of the Gulf Stream and begins to get a little bit more cohesion and structure to it. This storm that was over Central America several days ago, the Gulf a couple of days ago, and heading across our area tonight, I would not be surprised to see this become a new storm. So it is possible. Now, likely, well, 10% chance over the next several days being the judge of that for right now. Does not look like we're going to see too much of a chance. Possible, yes. Probable, doesn't look like it again for right now, but I would not be surprised if this happens because this has been known to happen before, so keep an eye on that. Good news for the Pacific, we have little, if anything, going on here, even though we had 3 storms, one right after the other, over western areas of Mexico and west of Central America. Nothing else showing up at this time, even though El Nino is heating the waters of the eastern Pacific up to possible super El Nino status, and that warm water can alone be enough to spark rapid intensification. So if you're heading to, say, Central America, western Mexico, Baja, southwestern United States, I would keep an eye on this area very closely, as again, you don't want to be heading into an area you're just going to have to head right back out of when a storm warning is issued. So again, time to be very weather aware on that. Island Cove from the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam Network page, which you can reach at WDEF.com/weather. A little bit of a ripple out there, a bit of a breeze at Lake Chickamauga, but otherwise not bad for tonight. Juneteenth Friday. A lot of government offices and other businesses will be closed tomorrow in celebration of Juneteenth. There will be the potential of some showers and thunderstorms early in the morning. Temperatures over the next several days, highs and lows, will be in this very narrow range. We're not seeing a big dip into cooler temperatures. Likewise, and thankfully, we are not seeing anything in the way of very hot weather anytime soon either, which, if you saw our record high on the almanac, 100 degrees, that hasn't been broken since the 1930s. It is possible we could very easily see those temperatures rocket upwards at this time of the year, but for right now, that's not happening. Now, the chances of rain tomorrow morning, that should be it. Last day of spring on Saturday looks pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. And then the first day of summer, which begins early Sunday morning, we'll see the return of showers and thunderstorms, a marginal risk of flash flooding Sunday and Monday. Will that threat continue with more chances of showers and thunderstorms? It's possible, but again, tonight, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, that's 5 days. That's as far as the Weather Predictions Center's predictions go on flash flooding. So whether or not we get more flash flooding next week, we'll have to watch to see what goes on there. Also, again, keep it tuned to News 12 because National Lightning Safety Awareness Week begins this Sunday. And if you'd like to know more about protecting yourself from lightning when you're outdoors, we'll have quizzes, we'll have topics, we'll discuss more about why it's important to pay attention to stuff like this as we go through the summer season. So National Lightning Safety Awareness Week, keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you updated with more when it comes to what's going on with lightning out there. So stay tuned for much more on that. In the morning, you may need this rain protection out there, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a huge possibility. It does look like we'll be seeing more possible just cloud cover and less rainfall coming on through. But there will be chances of showers and thunderstorms as you head out for a little bit more in the way of coffee and some breakfast in the morning. Before you go, make certain you check out more information with Chip Chapman in regards to the forecast, and make certain you check out with Time Saver Traffic to make certain you know what's going on out and about on the roadways, so you can make sure your commute goes smoothly out there as well. Let's take a look real quick here. A little bit of extracurricular activity before we finish up for tonight. On here, I want to take a look at our poll of the day, brought to you by Williams Plumbing at WDEF.com/vote now. Is again taking a look at the stronger weather of the spring, summer, early autumn season. Spring is the season with the most hailstorms, but which one is the second most active? Summer, autumn, or winter? Autumn and winter tied for last place, and the most votes went to summer. 56% of you voted for that, and that was the correct season. Usually it happens in about, according to some of the insurance companies' estimates that we've seen, the worst activity happens in certain parts of the Central Plains, the lee of the Rockies, and the upper Mississippi Valley, usually into the late summer months, as summer's about ready to transition to autumn. So thanks to everybody who voted for this in our poll. We'll have our next poll session coming up tomorrow. Again, that starts at midnight tonight, and you can vote for that at WDEF.com/vote now for more there. That should do it for tonight. Again, everything relatively quiet at this time. We have to go ahead and hop off here because we're going to be doing some recording in the studio here in just a few minutes. These gnats are getting annoying. I don't know where these are coming from. And with the air conditioning turned down to meat hook status, I'm surprised anything's flying in here for right now. That should do it again for this evening. We've been on for, give or take, about 20 minutes or so. Thanks to everybody on Facebook for tuning in, and thanks to everybody for tuning in on Twitch and YouTube. Questions, concerns, ideas, complaints, if you absolutely must, drop us a line at aonek@wdef.com or contact us again through our website at wdef.com to find out more. Chip Chapman's got more in the morning. I'll have more in your forecast on Friday evening. And, of course, we'll have updates through the weekend on the next approaching storm system, so stay tuned for more there. Live and direct, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek from downtown Chattanooga in the News 12 studios, and we'll talk to you